Here we are in the Gumbo Lagoon watching a gentleman who owns 18 of these brush parks as he is emptying one. You notice that he's got a net going on around it. I've got two experts on brush parks here with me, and I'll let them describe in better detail what's happening here. Can you introduce yourself, please? Yeah. What is your name?
I am Sunadas.
And you study these and work with these brush parks?
Yes.
Can you describe how productive they are and their role in the fish harvest here in the Gumbo Lagoon? You had mentioned some numbers about how many fish are produced here in the lagoon. What fraction of that total fish come from brush parks?
Name of the fish?
No, what? In other words, if 1,000 tons are harvested, how many of them are harvested from the brush parks?
Maybe this we can harvest about 10-15 kilograms.
Each time?
Each time.
And how
Sometimes more.
And how frequently is this a brush park of this size going to be harvested? Once every 2 weeks? Or?
Yes, sometimes every 3 weeks, sometimes 1 month. Like that.
Notice the fish jumping in the enclosure? And what caused the fish to go in there? What was it about the brush park that made the fish happen in there? Because if you'll note, as we look around, there are hundreds of these brush parks in every direction across the whole lagoon. Why would the fish choose to come into this area? What is it about the brush that attracts the fish?
Yeah, this was a brush park. Mainly they put in the mangrove sticks, different types of mangroves, and also if we don't have the mangroves, so they are using some other alternative plants like mango and acacia, these type of trees. So they putting normally 1 month, sometimes they 15 days in the water. So there are a lot of periphyton.
And can you show us the periphyton?
Yeah.
Put your hand right down. Yeah, so it's that brown.
This is brown, and also they consist of a lot of brown algae, green algae, and also the diatoms. So this is the main food item for the ciganus and Acroplus.
And that's what causes these fish to come into this spot.
Yeah,
and they've got the whole lagoon to feed on, but they come into here preferentially because of it's a center of activity around the periphyton.
Yeah, and also this structure provide the shelter for the fish and also food, and this will function as a real mangrove ecosystem.
And how long has this technique been happening here on the Gumbo Lagoon?
Maybe
from our king's time.
Hundreds of years.
Yes.
Hundreds of years.
Yes.
And does the lake run out of fish? Does the lake run out of nutrients?
Yeah.
Or does it continue to be productive? It continues.
Also now the thing is that these days many fishermen say their production is very low, and also they have problem with the cutting the mangroves. So now they are putting always a less amount of mangrove trees because they don't have enough mangrove trees for doing this type of activity. And also our legalization is very strong because they don't have right to cut the mangrove trees. Okay. So sometimes they are culturing the mangroves.
Actually growing the mangroves,
yeah.
Just so they've got the brush to put in here. Now I just saw this gentleman emptying this brush park. I saw him lift a tire out of the water. What was the tire's purpose?
For these, they put in not only the tires and also the lot of big tree stems for provide the shelter for the fish, and also this tire mainly used for some fish groupers. They always crabs.
So groupers and crabs will use that specialized the cavity of the tires as habitat.
Yes.
And maybe to lay eggs or something.
Sometimes.
Do you think breeding of fish actually occurs in a brush park of this size?
Some pieces maybe about maybe in Acroplus also they breed.
I see.
Yes.
like the fathead minnow in our country, it actually would thrive in such a setting. I know from direct experience because I'm growing them in similar settings in North America now for the first time. I don't know of anybody else in North America that's actually doing brush parks except for us in Montana. But we're learning from you. We're learning how to do this, and that's why I'm here.
This is the traditional fishing method in Nigambu Lagoon, especially the Nigambu Lagoon. This finds in only Nigambu Lagoon only. Can't see.
Why is that?
Because people training this system of fishery, they well trained, but other people can't do this method because very traditional method and lot of energy need.
Ah, yes, I can see that. Yeah. This gentleman, for example, is running 18 of these all by himself. So he's gonna take this brush park, which looks like that when you begin with over there. See, that's one underwater.
Earlier they plant mangrove trees for cutting only for the brush park. Only purpose is cutting for brush park fishery.
They're cutting mangroves systematically.
Ah,
Yes.
And also they know how to do it. So they maintain the mangrove forests.
okay, but here's what I was getting at is that all the work involved. This gentleman is emptying. You know, he's first of all he circles the brush park with a net. Then he goes into it and throws all the brush over the net. Then when he's done, he catches the fish.
Yes.
Then after that, he takes the net down. Then after that, he puts all the brush back again.
Yes.
Yeah,
And he does that. He has 18 of those.
Yes.
So this is this gentleman's living. Is it a good living?
Yeah, it's but they're doing only one park for one day.
One day.
One park, one
One
day.
day.
Okay. Well,
If winds come or water very high,
Because
they can't do it.
rainy season.
so there's a
rainy
time in the
season.
rainy season when it's simply too deep, and then he doesn't work it. What is that? 3 or
Because-
4 or 5 months?
And winds
And the
coming.
wind because of the wind speed.
Winds.
Okay.
The fish not aggregated this then because of heavy wind and also the very high water currents. So they know there are no fish there. So they not try to do it, collect the fishing. So
And I'm sorry, we didn't catch your name, by the way.
I'm Menaka.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you guys, both of you guys, for this explanation of what's going on here on the brush parks. Now, here comes some fish. I see fish in the net now.
Let's see.
And is he going to collect those fish and pour them into a trap in there, just so he's got them all in one spot? Is that what happens now?
Yeah, and especially in people like eat this kind of fish because they are very fresh now. Yes. And he get a lot of money and high money from fresh fish.
The fresh fish
He
is
produce-
really valuable.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
The main marketing strategy is like if we go the fish in the landing, the people who is around the village, they come and buy the fish. So the people like to get in the very fresh fish.
And
every day.
you'd mentioned that this gentleman actually exports his fish too. So some of
Yes,
them go
yeah.
to international
Yeah,
markets.
Yeah, because when they collecting the fish, they have some like monodactylus, argentus, and scats. They have some ornamental value.
Small size is ornamental, but
Yeah.
big one is food fish.
Wow. Now here he lifted up a tire and it's just busy with fish. Look at them flopping around in there. 28 kilograms, that translates to about 60 pounds of fish every 2 weeks from a space that might be a total of, I'm guessing 20 by 20, 400 square feet. And this is the brush park working as a FAD, a fish attraction device, plus there are fish being engendered in there. So there's both going on. Now in our brush parks in Shepherd, we can't draw fish in that. We aren't attracting fish, but yeah, I'm looking at the fish in the net. That's some examples of them. And there would be tilapia in there. What are some of the other types?
Etroplus.
Clopus, Siganus,
And cigar.
Asian sea bass, grouper.
Sea bass and grouper, those are
Yeah,
names
that's-
that resonate for me. We have them in the U.S. and we're, by the way, in a brackish water setting where the ocean influences this lagoon. There'll be tidal currents in here and the water might be 20 or 25,000 parts per million of salt or less in the rainy season when there's more water flushing it.
Yeah, they depend on the, because this is not a lagoon, so this is an estuary.
Estuary,
So this,
excuse me. Yeah.
Therefore, they have big chance for complete their migration pattern. So the mouth is always open.
Okay, only the mouth is
And
open.
also different, the salinity is very within the days, and in the rainy season it becomes 0, and normally it's around, now here is I think around 20.
Yeah. But do you know, I know that the brush parks are used in freshwater, and they're used in lagoons that are open right to the ocean as well. So they have different applications in different parts of the world, or different settings where they can be made to work.
Yeah. I know that especially the Bangladesh, they are using the freshwater.
Yeah.
They call it.
Yeah, and in Benin, apparently there's some very extensive.
India.
And
And
India
also
too.
they are using some floating materials like floating plants inside the brush park.
Right. In fact, in this book, the Paraphyton Compendium I have right here, there it is. That's the one by Akram Azim. There's actually diagrams of different forms of brush parks, like you're describing. The one with mangrove is, in fact, I think you'll find that at page 147, as I recall, or right about one in that chapter anyway. Oh, you just went over it. Just 147. Yeah.
And also the decay leaves like become detritus, and also it's a big food item for the fish.
Yeah, I think it's right around here, one page or two before or after this. We'll take a look at that. Here we go. Here's our diagram. See, that's what we have here, isn't it? That's a brush park, isn't it?
Yes.
Very similar to what's going on here.
But we are not putting that like
Bamboos we don't
Yeah,
use.
you don't need a walkway around it in this case. They're not building a walkway. All right. And then how long will this brush last? With the salt water here, is it going to degrade? Are there special worms that will eat it and cause the wood to break down very quickly?
Yeah, annually they change bamboo things. They structure and change it annually because
They'll change it how often?
they change annually.
Annually?
Yeah.
Once a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and also sometimes they have problem with they replace some mangrove trees when you're doing the activity. Sometimes 3 months after, 4 months after, they are not replacing all the mangroves.
Okay. Then the idea that if this were in freshwater, that wood might last even longer, right?
Yeah.
Salt water is harder on the wood than, or causes it to break down faster.
Yeah. But the mangrove is very hard.
Mangrove, is that why it's preferred? Is because it's such a hardwood?
Because their wood is very hard, and also they are very protective for insects.
Mm-hmm. And I've read in this book, in fact, that there are many other types of wood that can be used too. So it's mostly about the surface area combined with circulation in order to start off the food web with biofilm, isn't it? And then that which sticks to biofilm, that blend called Paraphyton, is what launches the food web.
I am studying about that food and feeding.
We have special pieces in eating inside worms and leaves. Then inside the worms are growing inside.
Ah, yeah.
The mangrove decay, some worms developing inside. Yeah. So this is one of the good food items.
Some fish has a lot of strong teeth. With 2 pieces here. One is red snapper. Other one is in the local name is karamorala. Scientific name I will tell you later.
Okay.
They have a very big and very strong teeth.
So they can get at those worms.
Yes.
Ah.
They eat worms.
Yeah. So that's a great example of how the brush park works, isn't it?
මේ කරමරලු කන මේ ලී කැල්ලකට පණුව තියෙන ලී කැල්ලක් තිබුණා තරම් දෙන්න.
By the way, will there be crabs in there too?
Yes, scalp also.
And
PCC sila sarata. Sila, yes.
How does he catch the crabs with if they're in there? With a net like that?
Yes.
Same way, okay.
Same way, and after catch they put some wooden to lock this one, to lock.
Seal it.
Seal it, yes. Yes. And or they tight strongly with rope.
Oh, here we're going to get a look at the wormholes, I bet, or where the fish have been grazing it.
Right. Yeah, these worms.
Wow, there they are. Close up of the worms
And
that occur in salt water.
And barnacles also here.
And there's barnacles.
Yes.
In other words, that wood has become almost like the launching pad of the food web in terms of what can grow on it.
Here. You can see footprints.
Wow. Okay. Yes, exactly. And there's fish that will vector with that will find that, use it, need it, and that's what pulls them into the brush.
Yes.
Brush park.
Yeah.
And in my case, in Montana, I can watch in my underwater viewing window, I can watch minnows come and peck at the window as they eat the periphyton directly off the window. They'll tilt at about a 45-degree angle and to shimmy their tail in order to get a mouthful of periphyton. They're eating it directly, and everything that lives in it, the invertebrates and all the rotifers, the huge biocomplexity of life forms.
Very nice.
It is. This is real. This is so direct and so perfect in terms of helping us understand how brush parks work. In saltwater, these worms actually break it down and contribute to the speed by which nutrients are cycled out of the water, and that in turn contributes to the volume, the outrageous volumes of fish that are being caught in such settings. Thank you guys very much. This has been awesome.